It's a flat quarter-mile track, so you got to put them sideways here to be fast. Welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Thursday Thunder, the Legends of Georgia, are coming up next. In November, NASCAR fans will fill Atlanta Motor Speedway to crown their champion in the final round of the Winston Cup Series. But on the hot summer Thursday nights leading up to that finale, a crowd gathers at the quarter-mile track on the front stretch to watch the racers that will be the champions of the future. This is where it all begins, on the short tracks in the South. And these are the Legends of Georgia.
I'm Jeff Perner. Welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's get ready for a great night of racing with the Legends of Georgia.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff Perner will be in the pits for us today. I'm Stephen Cox along with Larry Rice, and we're going straight to it. Bill Plemons III up front along with Scott Ellis, Charles Shoemaker, and Reed Sorensen in row 2.
Justin Michael and Chris Serio in row 3. Shane Upchurch and Buck Perry in row 4. Cameron Michael and Edward Holloway in row 5.
Row 6, Walt Brennan and Clay Greenfield alongside Robbie Swanson and Jay McCart in row 7. And row 8 all by himself, number 11, Jake Wardrop. Now look for a green flag this time around. These guys are hitting 125 horsepower under their right foot, and the green flag flies going into the first turn. Watch for Reed Sorensen to really come up from the back. He is really quick, and you got to watch out for him no matter where you're at, but especially on these flat tracks, Larry. He's already won a few times here.
Yes, Plemons got an early lead. He got a jump off the start, got a nice run. This is a funny little racetrack because this front straightaway and the back straightaway they're on right now is banked. Then they go into a flat corner, and the rest of the racetrack is a pit lane, and it's very, very flat.
Once again, Bill Plemons III is your leader. He's followed by the 31 car of Scott Ellis. And I would think, Larry, that some drivers really might prefer that. Is it more of a finesse track, maybe?
Well, it is very much a finesse track, but right there, when they drop off of that front straightaway, that's a very critical part because it'll loosen the race car up a lot if you hit it just wrong. So they got to come on there very easy, hit that so they don't get the back end of the race car out from under them.
And look how Ellis closes up under braking going into 1 and 3. Then they come out on the front stretch again, and Plemons seems to have the horsepower to go off and leave them. A little bit further back in the pack, there's the number 53 car of Justin Michael. He's followed by the 30 car of Chris Serio. So we've got some really good racing going on here back in the pack, and you really never break free from that on a quarter-mile track. Now, the battle for second place has also tightened up. There goes Reed Sorensen. We mentioned him at the top of the show, and Larry, he's taken second place.
Did a nice job. He set him up really well, got beside him going into the corner, and he had no alternative but to let Sorensen go on by in that corner.
And the funny thing is, Larry, Ellis was so quick in the corners, a little slow on the straights, but that's where he was passed. Now, Ellis drops back to third, Sorensen in second, and look at him line up and set his sights on Bill Plemons. This is going to be a fun battle because you know Sorensen has the speed. Now, Jay McCart has apparently pulled off on the infield. We'll get another look at him in just a minute, but that's causing some problems, slowing things down, but no yellow yet. Meanwhile, the battle up front continues.
Well, Sorensen really is fast. He just is all over him on the corners, but you can see Jake Wardrop has spun. That'll bring out the yellow because he's right in the middle of the racetrack.
And this is also going to let Scott Ellis catch back up to the two leaders. Once again, we'll run them down for you. William Plemons III in the number 15 car is your leader. He's followed by Reed Sorensen, the all-black number 7. And Scott Ellis in the 31 car in third place. Now, Reed's an interesting young fella. He's 12 years old, and he's winning plenty of races.
I started racing Legends in 1997 in November. I drive a 37 Ford sedan. I've had pretty good luck here. The last 7 races, we've won a couple of them, 6 of them. So I plan to take this Legends series about 3 more years and move up each year. And eventually I'll be in the pro class. And hopefully I can win a series in the pro class later on. My mom races Legends too in the Q car, Quaker State car. And my dad's my crew chief, and my mom's crew chief too. My ultimate goal is racing the Winston Cup guys. I just hope my luck continues.
Well, it's certainly continuing here today. That's Reed Sorensen in the number 7 car. He's running second, pushing Bill Plemons III for the lead. We'll be back. We're expecting a green any moment. Now, once again, let's reset the field for you. Bill Plemons III in number 15 is your leader, and Reed Sorensen is in second place. Scott Ellis is fighting to hang on to third. Now, the green drops, and Larry, these guys are coming back out on tires that have probably cooled down some.
just a little bit. Ellis looked like he tried to sneak to the inside. He couldn't make it, though, as Sorensen's really putting the pressure on our leader, Plemons.
And the guys that go out like a slick racetrack with an ill-handling race car that slips around on them some and has to be driven a lot will probably like these first few laps as they get everything back up to temperature. Once again, Scott Ellis fighting desperately to hang on to the tail of Reed Sorensen, not quite getting the job done. I'm afraid these two guys are going to check out of here.
And you can see right there, oh, Sorensen gets to the inside. He hit the left rear. Plemons stays on the gas, almost gets in the fence, but Sorensen definitely touched him when he slid out just a little bit.
Hard to blame Reed for that, though. I mean, the leader gets sideways in front of him. You see smoke fly, he hits the brakes and tries to move, but just no luck whatsoever. So I'll tell you, that's going to put Bill Plemons straight backwards. It moves Reed Sorensen into the lead, and number 31, Scott Ellis, is in second place. Now, Ellis puts his hand out the side of the cockpit, and we have a yellow flag. Now, I'll tell you what we might end up seeing here. We have a rule that protects the leader that we'll talk about in just a moment, but Larry kind of analyzed this and see if there's anybody we should be blaming at all.
Well, right there, you could see that Plemons had moved out. He slid out, got a little bit wide. Sorensen tried to take that inside line. When Plemons moved back down to protect that inside line, they touched. Is it Sorensen's fault? Well, I don't think exactly you can blame him any more than you can Plemons, but still, they have that rule in effect.
Now here goes some upset tempers right here. Reed Sorensen comes up and gives him a little love tap just to say, hey, I didn't think it was my fault at all, so he must agree with you, Larry.
Yes, he obviously doesn't think it was his fault. He had a way to get inside of Plemons. Plemons just came back down. He's going to stop and talk to the officials, and they're going to say, hey, think a little bit, go to the back. He's got a long way to go now, though.
And the official just pointed the flag behind him. I bet you anything we're going to see the protect the leader rule come into play here. Whoever spins the leader is sent to the back, assumes responsibility for the accident, and the leader gets their spot once again. In other words, Bill Plemons may get his lead back, and we may see Reed Sorensen rejoin all the way at the end of this field.
That's exactly what's going to happen. He is going to have to go to the back, and Plemons is going to get the lead back because of that little bump that he incurred.
And look at the lead that Plemons got. He got a great jump coming off turn 4 over Scott Ellis. Now Scott has been moved from fighting for the lead back to second, then back to third, and now he's up to second once again. But we got a brief glimpse of Reed Sorensen already picking off cars at the back of this pack. The question now becomes, is there enough feature race left for him to get back up front?
We got another spin. That's Shoemaker back there spun. He and Sorensen, but he was on the outside of Sorensen, got out in the marble, so to speak, and just went around.
And look how loose Reed Sorensen is. He is driving the life out of that race car as quick as he can, trying to get back up front. I don't see a yellow yet. We may have one come out here in a moment. But let's take another quick look at that as William Plemons III is again your leader with a little room to spare now over the 31 machine of Scott Ellis.
You can see Sorensen is already around him. He just smokes it in there real hot, trying to keep up. Was just too fast. Didn't get on the brakes, didn't get slowed down enough, and it just came around and spun out into the grass.
Well, it's easier to slow him down than to speed him up, isn't it?
Well, that's right. And he was definitely trying to get on the inside, or the outside, I should say, but he just went too hot, got out in the marbles a little bit, and spun her out.
Well, let's take a look a little bit further back in the pack. We've got some nice runs going on. Bill Plemons, once again, is trying to get around some lap traffic, but we have another almost immediate yellow. This time, Clay Greenfield spins it coming out of turn 4. And this is something that you would think these guys would be used to because this is a flat track that they normally drive on, Larry.
Well, they run a lot here, but green flag is back out. But it's a very, very tricky racetrack. This flatness really makes it easy to get in the corners too hot. And look at Ellis, he's on the inside right there. Almost had a spot, but Plemons just wouldn't give him that opportunity.
The white flag comes out this time around for Bill Plemons III as they head into 1. Scott Ellis is back there, a couple of car lengths. Larry, does he still have a shot?
Well, he's going to have to make it happen in this corner, and it looks like Plemons is just too strong getting out of the corners for him. I don't think he's got a prayer.
He's got all kinds of horsepower in that thing coming off the corners, and that's been really noticeable from the very beginning. Bill Plemons Jr. holds him off. He takes the checkered flag. Once again, Scott Ellis is in second place and was really lucky to get that second place after Reed Sorensen was taken to the back of the field. You don't think he's a happy guy? Look at that.
Well, he did a great job. He did exactly what he had to do. That one incident almost cost him, but he managed to hang on.
Look at the teeth on the front of that legend car. Bill Plemons Jr. is your winner, followed by Ellis, Perry, Holloway, and Michael. We're going to come back with more Legends Racing action from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, there may have been faster guys on the track, but none of them made it to the checkered flag quicker than Bill Plemons III. Our winner waits in victory lane with Jeff Perner.
Winner circle with Bill Plemons. Great race, Bill. It was an interesting race. A lot of controversy going on out there. How'd you see it?
Well, I just came out of 4 one time, and I went sideways, and I felt a bumper on me, so I knew I'd been turned. And it made me upset because I had to win this race for my mom, and earlier this year I was involved in a non-track incident with him and going into 3, and I accidentally got in him and spun him out, and I went to the rear. So, you know, sometimes there's just payback. I mean, he's won 7. He's had his look. It was just time for mine to come around. I knew deep in my heart I had to win the race for my mom. She's at home with a brain tumor, and I deeply down want to dedicate this race to her.